Okay, so on the next one, finding the exact equation, this was from worksheet AA1-7. You're either given a graph like this, or you will be told the locator point, which in this case is your vertex, and the passing through point, which is that one. And we use these 2 points to plug in our HK and our passing through point, which we use as XY. So when we do this, so this point up here, our passing through point is the point 96, and our HK is 5, -6. So we have in our general equation, I'm going to put this on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, so the way that you do this, you take your general equation. This is a parabola, so this is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And you plug in all the numbers that you know. In this case, you know that h is 5, k is -6, x is 9, and y is 6. So y is 6. I don't know a. X is 9. H is 5. Don't forget to bring down that squared. That's one of the most common problems that I see is people forgetting to do that step. And then k is -6, so -6. From there, you just need to solve for a. Order of operations stuff is very important in this because a lot of people forget that this is multiplying a times this whole thing, so you need to simplify this whole thing first. So we have 6 equals a times 4 squared minus 6. And I'm just showing every single step so you don't get lost. 6 equals a times 16 minus 6. Can you combine the 16 and the 6? No. A is attached to that 16, just like you can't distribute an a here or anything like that. You got to stick with that order of operations. So what do I do with this 6 instead? Add to both sides. So 12 equals a times 16. The other way you can write that, because for some reason people have a hard time seeing that, is 12 equals 16a. And then what do I do to get a alone? Divide by 16. So this is going to be a fraction. 12 over 16 is, you can either do it as a decimal, 0.75, or both of those are divisible by 4. So a equals 3/4. My preference is fractions, but I'm not going to ding you for giving me a decimal unless it's like a repeating decimal, like 0.3 repeating. Then you want to write it as a fraction. Any questions on the process of finding a? Yeah. The very last step then is to write out your actual equation. This would get you 7, this would get you proficiency, but for that full 8, you want to write out your equation. So y equals 3/4 x minus 5 squared minus 6. So that would be your exact equation. Questions on any of that process? All right, completing the square to find the radius and center and radius of a circle. So our parent equation, and this one is not on your parent graph toolkit, so make sure you do write this down somewhere, is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals your radius squared. So what we want to do is manipulate this equation, let's that over, or just erase that. Manipulate that equation so that I have 2 of those. One for x and one for y. So I'm going to split this down the middle, and I'm going to try to create a perfect square trinomial from it. Now, off to the side down here, you can write this part down or not, depending on what you want to do. Let's say I have x plus 10 squared. This is not relating to this specifically. This is just helping you guys remember the relationship. If I multiply this out, that gives me x plus 10 times x plus 10, which is x squared plus 10x plus 10x plus 100. So my perfect square trinomial is x squared plus 20x plus 100. So the important thing that you need to remember from this so that you can see the pattern is that half of that middle coefficient is going to be that number right there. And then that number squared is what you need that third number to be. So this relationship between this number, and this number becomes very important in figuring out what that third number needs to be. Questions on that part? Okay, so if I remember this relationship, and I look up to my specific problem here. If my middle term is 6, or 6x, my middle coefficient is 6, what do I need this number to be? 3. So this is going to be x plus 3 squared, which means this third number has to be what?
9.
Why?
3 squared is 9.
3 squared is 9. So this number has to be 9, which means what do I need to do? Add 4. And if I add 4 here, I have to add it to the other side of the equal sign. So I'm going to add 4 over here as well. Questions on that part? Okay. So now I have this one right here. I don't have a third term, so I just have to figure out what I need that third term to be. So if I look at my y's, what do I need this number to be? So this, what would be in that place right there? What do I need here? Negative 4. Why does it have to be negative? Because this is negative, half of it's going to be negative. So, squared, which means I need my third number here to be what? 16. So I'm just going to straight up add 16 because there's nothing I have to make up there. So I'm also going to add 16 to the other side. So now I'm going to write this prettier, one step down here. So what I have is x plus 3 squared, bring down this plus sign, and then y minus 4 squared, and then 16 plus 4 is 20, plus another 16 is 36. That's the completing the square part. What is the radius? Radius is going to be 6. Because of the square root of 36. And then what's my center? Negative 3, 4. So remember, because in your parent graph, this is x minus and y minus, so they're going to be the opposite of what you would think they would be.